Hi, welcome back to Cosmo's universe. A question I get asked quite often is how many planets are there in space? Well, the answer to that question depends on where in space and when. For instance, we could ask how many planets are there in our solar system. The solar system is made up of the Sun in the middle and 8 planets that orbit or go around the Sun. These 8 planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Astronomers once called Pluto a planet as well. Nowadays, it's called a dwarf planet. So between the years 1930, when Pluto was first discovered, until 2006, it was quite common for people to say there were 9 planets. The number of planets people thought existed has changed throughout history. Thousands of years ago, when people used to look at the stars without telescopes, they noticed that over time, some things that looked like bright stars seemed to move through the fixed patterns of other stars. They didn't know what these objects were or what caused them to move, so they decided to call them planetes. In Latin, planetus means wanderer. Just like we do in modern times, these ancient people could only see the brightest planets in the sky. These bright planets are Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, which they named after Roman and Greek gods. So a long time ago, people thought there were only 5 planets. It's amazing to think that Earth wasn't even included with the 5, because ancient people didn't realise that Earth is actually a planet. It wasn't until much later, when the first big telescopes were built, that more planets were discovered. In 1781, an astronomer called William Herschel discovered Uranus. By that time, astronomers had worked out that Earth was also a planet orbiting the Sun. So, by the late 18th century, 7 planets were known. Then, 65 years later, an astronomer called Johann Galle discovered Neptune. So now we're up to 8 planets. 84 years later, in 1930, astronomer Clyde Tombaugh discovered Pluto, which again is no longer considered a planet. So in our solar system, there are currently 8 planets that we know of. But there are many other planetary systems out in space. In other words, there are lots of other planets orbiting lots of other stars. These are called exoplanets. The first exoplanet found to be orbiting a star was discovered in 1995 and is orbiting a star called 51 Pegasi. Even though astronomers now know there's lots of other planets out there, they don't discover them by actually seeing them. Astronomers discover them in a couple of clever ways, but it takes a bit of luck as well. If the star is viewed from the top or the bottom, it's harder to detect possible planets than if they're viewed from the side. One advantage of viewing exoplanets from the side is that if the planet passes in front of the star, the planet will block out some of the light and the star will dim a little bit. Astronomers can't see the star dim by simply looking. Instead, they use very sensitive instruments attached to big telescopes to detect the dimming starlight. The astronomers can then very cleverly work out the approximate size of the star and exoplanet. Another clever way astronomers find exoplanets is by using something called Doppler shift. Doppler shift can be detected in both light waves and sound waves. Have you ever noticed the siren of a police car or ambulance when it's travelling towards you? As it approaches, the pitch of the sound gets higher, like this. And when it's moving away from you, the pitch of the siren gets lower. As the siren moves towards you, the sound waves get squashed a little, causing the pitch to sound higher. When the siren moves away from you, the sound waves get stretched out a little, causing a lower pitch. The light from stars can behave in much the same way. If there's an exoplanet orbiting a star, gravity will cause the star to move along the path of a circle or ellipse. When light from the star is moving towards us, the light waves will squash up a little, causing the light to appear a bit bluer than it should. When the star moves away, the light waves are stretched out, causing the starlight to appear a little redder than it should. When astronomers see these small changes in the light of a star, they're pretty sure it's because there's one or more planets orbiting around it. By using these methods, astronomers have discovered about 4,500 exoplanets so far. This video was made in 2021, so as technology improves, many more exoplanets will be discovered in the future. So that number will definitely increase. I suppose you could also ask, how many stars are there in our galaxy or even the whole universe? The challenge here is most stars in our galaxy and other places in the universe are so far away we don't have the technology to find out yet. But by knowing how many of the closest stars to Earth have exoplanets, astronomers will one day be able to make some pretty good guesses. One thing for sure, it'll be a really big number. Thanks again for watching. I do hope this helps and look forward to seeing you next time in Cosmo's Universe.